Good afternoon. Would you please introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your background?
I am the Chief Information Security Officer of Epignosis. Epignosis is the company that operating and maintaining the Talent LMS platform. In the IT and security engineering field about 12, 13 years. I used to make cybersecurity consulting for a few companies in fintech, in cryptocurrency, in cybersecurity retail. Now I'm focused on Epignosis and Talent LMS.
So, we got in touch with each other after learning that your company has instituted a clean desk policy. So, what exactly is that and how does it work?
Clean desk policy is basically a policy where the employee must keep the desk tidy whenever leaves the desk. This is very important. It may be strange, but clean desk policy is very important for the security of a company. It will make an exposure of basically passwords, documents, or some information which is classified and wasn't meant to read. It could be another one, a third party, maybe a visitor, maybe the cleaning lady, cleaning staff, and you understand that this could compromise the whole system.
So, what are some of the risks and dangers of leaving unattended items out on your desk?
It will be, apart from the unauthorized access on a system, on a very critical system, it could also be a leak of critical information. This information may be payrolls, maybe client data, maybe employee data, and financial information, anything. A very critical information that is meant to be classified and not open for everybody.
Since you've enacted this policy, have you noticed that it's helped with your security or adhering to any compliances?
Of course it helps. And about compliance, clean desk policy is a very basic requirement of the ISO 27001, which is the cybersecurity ISO, which Epignosis is holding certification for this ISO. And it's a very, very important requirement to get the certification and maintain the certification. So that helps a lot because we make audits as well to keep this policy and ensure that it works. So it's for compliance, for the ISO compliance is very important.
How have the employees in your company reacted to this policy?
Well, they usually welcome it. And that is because in Epignosis we emphasize in cybersecurity training. Cybersecurity awareness, as we call the training, is very, very important because you make the employee to face a simulation of the danger, not the real danger, so eventually understands the root of and the cause of the policies. And sometimes not to ensure the policy, I make some audits because training must be repetitive and practical, especially cybersecurity training. So I make some audits sometimes, and I'm trying to find a sticky note or a document or a piece of paper, and I steal it in some way. I keep it in my office, and then I'm waiting for somebody to look for the document. So if the employee looks for the document, then he really understands how critical it is to lose a document, and of course, how much more critical is this document to get into the wrong hands.
So, how do you enforce this policy? Are there any penalties or guidelines to help keep people on track?
I personally don't believe in penalties and enforcements. My approach is training, education and training. Because if everybody is trained, well trained and educated, then there is no need for penalties and enforcements. The compliance comes naturally and more smoothly, and everybody understands why it has to take security seriously.
In addition to the clean desk policy, what other practices are you using to keep your information secure, such as document destruction and hard drive destruction?
Of course, shredding is mandatory, especially classified documents. Classified documents 100% must be shredded, as well as the other documents. Yeah, there is also shredding of hard disks, but that's a procedure of the IT because no employee comes in touch with hard disks, hard drives. Another thing is we enforce a lock screen policy. To take the clean desk policy a step further is also to lock your computer screen. This is very important because everybody that has access to the office has access also to the desk, has access also to everything inside the computer. So it's very important to lock the screen. At last, because Epignosis is a tech company, it's very much familiar with electronic documents. And we encourage also, we very much encourage the use of the electronic documents instead of hard documents and hard copies. This makes easier to control the clean desk policy compliance, and it's also, a greener tactic. It's much better for the environment, apart from the security, because you don't waste so much paper.
So are you planning on bringing all of your employees back to the office after the pandemic? Will it be some kind of hybrid workforce, and will there be any changes to the policy?
Well, most probably it will be a hybrid workforce because the company before pandemic had also a very wide work from home culture. They will bring the employees will come back. Most of them will come back, but a lot of them will stay and remain to work from home. The policies will remain much the same, but I will make personally sure, to reinforce the learning and the training, and of course to perform some audits to ensure that nobody has loosened up and everybody is vigilant about the policies.
So finally, what have you learned from this policy, and I guess what would your recommendation be to a company that may be looking to start its own clean desk policy?
Well, this is, as we told before, something very, very, very important. Epignosis, the marketing department did a survey recently, which that survey showed that 26 of the employees write their passwords on sticky notes on paper, and usually leaving them on the desk. So this is a shocking result and a shocking finding. They also have, as I told you before, to explain to the employees the need and importance of the clean desk policy, so they can embrace it smoothly and help in general. Now for our company, as I told you, it helped us very much for the cybersecurity ISO, the ISO 27001, and in general helps very much with compliance. Yeah, also it's not only data written on paper and passwords and documents. Clean desk policy also concerns unattended equipment, USB sticks, hard drives, every unattended equipment that can be used and can store data. So to broaden this up a bit, we could include unattended equipment and storage, mostly storage medium. So I strongly advise every company to use clean desk policy. It's very, very important.